Make sure it's not cut or frayed, no excessive wear, no tears or rips. And make sure it latches and unlatches. And make sure it's mounted securely. I'm going to look at all my mirrors, make sure that they're clean and visible, not cracked, damaged, or broken. Make sure that they're adjusted for me. I'm going to check all my glass and my windshields, make sure that they're not cracked, damaged, or broken. Clean and visible, make sure I don't have any illegal stickers or no obstructions that block my view. Then I'm going to check my emergency equipment, make sure I don't have anything rolling around that might affect my pedals or my driving. I'm going to check my emergency equipment, make sure that I've got 3 reflector triangles, make sure I've got extra fuses, make sure I have an ABC fire extinguisher that's current and up to date. Make sure it's fully charged with the pin in place, and make sure that's properly mounted and secured. Then I'm going to safe start my vehicle, make sure that I'm in neutral, make sure that I push my clutch in. Then I'm going to make sure my ABS light comes on and goes off. Then I'm going to start with all my gauges. I'm going to check my oil gauge, make sure that my oil pressure is at proper operating range. I'm going to check my water as well, make sure it's at normal range. I'm going to check my RPMs. Make sure that gauge is working okay. I'm going to check my speedometer, my miles per hour when I start doing my service brake check. I'm going to check my volts. It's going to be between 12 volts and 14 volts. I'm going to check my fuel gauge, make sure it's working, make sure I have enough fuel to get to my destination. I'm going to check my primary and secondary air gauges, make sure that I have that they're in between 120 and 140 operating range. Then I'm going to check my steering wheel, make sure I don't have any more than 2 inches of play. I'm going to check my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my 4-way flashers, my headlights, high and low beams. I'm going to check my windshield wipers, make sure I've got good rubber, that it makes good contact with the glass, not ripped or torn or frayed. I'm going to check my washer fluid, make sure that it's making a clean sweep of the windshield. Going to check my heater and defroster and make sure I've got good airflow and that it's functioning properly. I'm going to check my city horn and my highway horn and make sure they're working okay. And then I'm going to start with my, let's see, did I forget anything? Let me check. Okay. Now I'm going to start my tug test or my brake check. I'm going to put it in first gear. I'm going to check my trailer brakes. So I'm going to release the tractor brakes and I'm going to do a slight gentle tug. Make sure that my tractor brakes are working okay. Then I'm going to switch buttons and I'm going to check my tractor brakes. Make sure they're working okay with a gentle tug. Then I'm going to push the bolt and roll forward 3 feet or 5 miles an hour. Push the brake, make sure my truck stops in a straight line, doesn't pull to the left or the right. Then I'm going to shut my truck off, wait till it gets quiet, take my clutch off, turn my key right back on. Then I'm going to do my lab, which is leaks, alarms, and buttons. I'm going to check for leaks first with my foot firm on the pedal. I shouldn't lose more than 4 psi in a minute. And my minute starts now. Time flies when you're having fun. And then I'm going to check my alarms next. And I'm going to fan my brakes till I get to 60 psi, and my alarm is going to sound. There we go, that was fast. And so now that my alarm works, now I'm going to check my tractor protection valve or my emergency brakes. And the way I do that is I make sure when I'm fanning the brakes, both buttons pop out between 20 and 40 psi. There we go, both buttons popped out. That means my emergency brake is working. I'm going to safe start my vehicle. This completes my in-cab inspection.
Thank you, Chuck.
Welcome.